So it's pretty sad to watch.
There's this discussion about whether we should send jets, MiG jets, to help the Ukrainian Air Force. Would you send in that kind of help?
Well, maybe even more, to be honest with you. And I'm the one that would have stayed out. I'm the one that would have stayed out. Let me just explain that.
So what do you do now? You said you'd maybe do more than just send in the MiG jets. All right. What more?
What I would do is we have tremendous military capability. And what we can do without planes, to be honest with you, without 44-year-old jets, what we can do is enormous. And we should be doing it. And we should be helping them to survive. And they're doing an amazing job. But, I was the one that sent in the javelins. I mean, everyone refuses to acknowledge that. And I took a lot of heat as well. Nobody knew how well those javelins would do and how well but those javelins that knocked out all the tanks, those were sent by me. But they need other kinds of help. And one thing I do rapidly is that get the oil flowing, because if you reduce the price of oil significantly, that war is going to end.
There's Donald Trump again, reeling off a buffet list of things that don't really relate or make much sense when it comes to what's going on in Ukraine with the Russian invasion. Yes. Again, this time he appears on Stuart Varney's show to say all these random things that absolutely have nothing to do with it. And I get a feeling Stuart Varney's kind of tired of it, because he said, listen, I need you to tell me how, what, well, more, Mr. Former President. No, he has nothing for you. But he did have a new way of at least giving you a new angle to his radical stupidity. His use of the N-word here, Trump.
But I listened to him constantly using the N-word. That's the N-word. And he's constantly using it, the nuclear word.
Oh, that's very provocative, Donald. That's very provocative. Let me say the N-word, because some people might listen to me more now, say the same nonsense over and over and over again. Now, Varney did probably see previous interviews where Trump took tangents and started talking about windmills. So he said, I might as well get ahead of this football. And I'll just say, what do you think about climate change, even though this has nothing to do with what else we were talking about? Trump had his thoughts on that as well.
What about climate change?
That I don't even think ever took a course in the environment.
Is the climate Is the climate changing because of human activity?
In my opinion, you have a thing called weather, and you go up and you go down. If you look into the 1920s, they were talking about global freezing. Okay, in other words, the globe was going to freeze. And then they go global warming. Then they couldn't use that because the temperatures were actually quite cool, and many different things. So now they just talk about climate change. The climate's always been changing.
Well, how are we back on here again? See, what you have is when you talk about climate change, it's kind of like weather, and it's kind of like a roller coaster. Sometimes it goes up, and sometimes it goes down, Francesca, and then it loops in a circle. Depends on which roller coaster you're on. And then on those roller coasters, sometimes you might scream, put your hands up, and then you'll get a picture. You look at it afterwards. What?
As we're all dying from rising sea levels and the storm surge, you get a little photo souvenir to take home on the lifeboat. Like, yeah. First of all, can we just put this out there? I know what it sounds like to recover from COVID because I'm doing so right now. Tell me Trump does not sound like he's running a little bit of a fever. Like, that dude is not well. I mean, and even when he's well, I mean, let's be real, the rants are the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's heard. His opinion is that there's weather, JR, just an opinion. It's my opinion. Sometimes it's hot and cold. That's why they say I'm a genius. Like, I think the real thing obviously is the Ukraine stuff, right? Where he doesn't have a line. He doesn't, it's like, at least, hey, former president who withheld military aid to Ukraine in order to extort it for dirt on your rival in the election. Why don't you come up with a line, just one line? That's all you gotta do. Same with all these right wingers. Come up with one line that is not written by Putin and or his propagandists, and just repeat it over and over again. And sit your ass down, and we'll call on you in a few months when this is over, or not. Maybe we'll never call on you. But that's my thing about a former president not having nothing to say. My heart goes out to both the Ukrainians as well as the Russian people. I don't know, Russian soldiers have died if he loves Russia so much. But he's got nothing, because the truth is, he wouldn't do anything as president. And initially in this war, I don't know about you, JR, I was like, I don't know if Putin would have invaded, because he was already getting everything he wanted from Trump. But I completely disagree with my earlier thought now. And I know that, no, Putin would have invaded. In fact, he would have invaded even more so because he knows that Trump would have stood by and done absolutely nothing, far less than what the United States is doing. And Putin had been planning this, like since Crimea. This has been on the docket for him.
Well, when you can see how everything, you mentioned how many times Trump said me, my, because I did, javelins, they throw those in track events. All these, he went through all things and it all comes back to me. People don't understand. It was about me. It was mine. It was me. And I was like, every time he shows up on one of these shows and says these things that make no sense. And what I would think he would play back or see the response, because he understands every time he says something, he's obsessed with the response. That's his life's blood. So he hasn't seen yet that everyone now knows he's clueless. He has no answers for any of these things, yet he keeps going back on. So to myself, I was like, wait a second, why does he keep doing this? He doesn't have to. How much have we seen a W on shows? How much have we seen Obama on shows talking about Russia and Ukraine? Not at all. He's on there because he thinks he has to continue to promote himself and somehow clear himself of some kind of connection to it, because everyone knows. I'm still trying to find what the end game is, but he's not making himself look any better.